So Federico, come on. You're going from your large corporate, head of market research for Philips. We've worked together for many years. And you're joining BrainJuicer, which I have to say we are all thrilled, really thrilled about. But this is an interesting move. This is a big move from very large to frankly still quite small.
Yes.
Talk us through it.
It is, and probably I'm even more thrilled than all of you are in the change that I'm making, because I think I wanted to find a dimension where you can have a very strong personal contribution. It can really contribute to the corporate growth. Not that when you work for large corporation this doesn't happen, but when you do have sort of a much more human side and more human dimensions, then you can probably make a much larger impact. And then I wanted to put all my experience and all my contacts at work for me, instead of being dispersed into corporate environment and invest most of my time in stakeholder management. I want to work on the business, I want to help clients find solutions, and I want to launch new services, as you probably are going to assign me to that. And this is exciting.
The human dimension that you mentioned, I think that is at the heart of what we're trying to do in the way as we grow. Instead of just becoming another big research factory as it's 200, 300, we're now 135 people. And I'm conscious that the default is you just become like every other agency. And humanity, how do you actually build a culture based, a juicy culture, which is what we're trying to do, and satisfaction, which is our staff, employee satisfaction and customer satisfaction product, which you're going to lead, is, I think, a real contributor potentially as a feedback loop to humanity. What we're measuring is how people feel. And how you feel is a composite of how an organization actually, looks after you. Is it rewarding? Is it motivating? Do you feel like you're treated like a human being?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And so you're going to have a metric which you can share with the world, which actually I think is measuring humanity as much as it is, emotion.
It is, and I can tell you, coming from the culture, I was doing something similar for Philips, measuring NPS. But the way it is approached in large corporation is actually a metric. So it's a number that people try, and people set targets against the numbers, and you have plans against the numbers, but nobody thinks about the respondents to those numbers, who are actually human beings, and that put an emotional sentiment into what they are answering and the products, services they are using. And that's why I'm really thrilled to be leading Satisfaction, because I think I want to get back to the respondent, to that sentiment that drives decisions for consumers, and also any type of people and employees in the case of internal satisfaction. Because also, all the engagement services, engagement measurements that you have in corporations to measure how employees are satisfied. Well, they're seen and looked at as numbers, and most of the times the interesting answers are denied, and therefore you get back to have a very flat organization which has a very corporate culture, but not really a human culture.
Well, talking of which, I think the whole sort of big corporate culture. You started your career at P&G. You know big companies, Philips, P&G, and also agencies. You were at BASES. And the other part of what you're going to be doing is how do we actually build our own client satisfaction, or client delight, frankly. And my observation is in the last decade, the big research factories have, their idea of international kind of client satisfaction is kind of good coordination, minimum quality controls, consistency across international offices. Please tell me that that's not enough anymore. I don't think it's ever been enough. Market research needs to inspire, not to be an international insurance policy. Surely, are we at that point? Is that something that we can aim for?
Well, this is one of the major changes that needs to happen in research to become relevant and to be part of the decision. What you're describing, the harmonization, international capabilities, standardization, this is all infrastructure. it doesn't touch the heart of the problem, which is, what are the respondents really telling you? How can I use this feedback to make better products or take the proper strategic decisions? And research and researchers particularly are very close to the respondents, are very close to understanding what really moves the people to answer in a significant way. And they have to bring that message to management. So you need to find the ways you can engage so that better decisions get made. This is the future of research. It's not about having capabilities in 52 countries and be capable of pulling out the research in 24 hours. This is the infrastructure, this is the basics of research. What's interesting is to bring the research in the boardroom, to bring research to be a tool used to make a strategy or to inspire a new product or a new series of services.
Look, well, we have I heard a lovely quote yesterday, a Peter Drucker quote, which I'd never come across before, which is plans are just plans until they degenerate into hard work. and I think,
Yes.
We've talked a lot about this. You and I have talked about this. I mean, I've listened to you wrestling with transforming a Philips culture, from basically being, sort of data gatherers and project managers into a genuine, inspirational customer, understanding the customer. And Philips has moved a massive amount, in the years that you've been there and leading it, and some of your colleagues. I mean, I think it's really impressive. But now we have to do it to all our clients. We have to help. We have to inspire. I think that's, BrainJuicer has to walk the talk and make a contribution which gets noticed. And frankly, to help do famous marketing, things that are controversial but actually, produce commercial results.
Yes.
And Federico, this is your challenge. Should you choose to accept it?
Yes, I do. And I think that the journey that I've gone through in Philips is something that many clients are actually struggling with. How do they make research more meaningful? How do the researchers express all the knowledge and the understanding that they have of consumers and markets and situations? How can they bring research to be a strategic function? I've started the journey in Philips. I've done it for 3.5 years, and I still think Philips is not there. It's a long journey because it has to do with people again, and people take time to change. They need motivation to change, but they also need skills, new skills that they don't have today. I think in this sense I can help all clients. BrainJuicer intends to put me in front, and in this way we can actually really help the clients to make their function strategic and find the right way to position services and answers that they're looking for so that they become management decisions.
Fantastic. Well, it's going to be a long journey for us as well, but really enjoyable. We're just thrilled that you're joining. And Federico, here's to the next few years. It'll be great fun.
Thank you very much.